In today's FX markets, I want to focus on the Canadian dollar today. In most of the big majors, the names that typically get kicked around, not a lot of movement today, but the Canadian dollar was one of the bigger movers when you look at the currency markets today. That and with the Japanese yen, those are really the two large movers of the day. And the Canadian dollar actually gaining some strength today, up about 0.5% versus the dollar. We did see a reversal of this trend. The Canadian dollar settling right around the spot 75625 level. We did see a high of spot 75655 and a low of spot 75160. So the high end of the range for the Canadian dollar today. And again, reversing a 3-day downtrend. And we basically saw a lot of the currencies adjusting to the current narrative now after the disruption in the equity markets and the bond market. We're seeing some of these currencies now price adjusting because of the nuances there and some of the outlying issues that the market's been contending with the last couple of days. And when you look at the Canadian dollar, I think it's interesting as you now see it kind of bouncing after the 2% decline in July, primarily on the fact that now if the Fed, I should say, has to move in September, Bank of Canada indicated that, they didn't cut in the last cycle, and they indicated that they don't intend to cut moving forward. So I think that's helping to support the Canadian dollar here short term. Also, couple that with the equity markets rebounding today, and we did see some selling pressure in the bond markets, and I think that also helped to stabilize the Canadian dollar relative to some of the other currencies out there, given the fact that from a trajectory standpoint, a rate trajectory standpoint, the Canadian dollar still looks like in a pretty decent position relative to some of these other currencies. Also looking at moving forward, some of the dynamics within the market. Canada, for the most part, is somewhat isolated from some of these tariff situations as well. So I think that that's going to be another thing that the Canadian dollar is going to have to benefit from. If we continue to see this tariff situation unravel or we see it escalate even more, you would expect that the Canadian dollar potentially could be viewed as a safe haven, particularly if the Bank of Canada opts not to move on rates at any time in the near future.